Yeah.
I sure hope so. See if you can put the noose around your neck tighter. Yeah, you do.
I really do, actually.
I know you do.
I take this more seriously than I let on.
She did.
I turned on this one. It's karaoke. Mary Beth leading. No, and I just turned this one on because Corey.
Push one.
There's a power button right here, and you turn it. Yeah. It's a switch. You just flip it from. Yeah. Please do not. Please do not.
Did you get kicked out?
Got
Meeting. Like I said, we need, I'll talk to you. Well, there's Morgan, his brother was on.
There it is. It's Morgan.
His brother almost kicked me out. He was gonna get close to me.
Dang.
Yes. But we probably.
Were you in Little League or?
No, high school.
A little more important.
Yeah. We were playing T10, that's pretty soft too. And we weren't gonna win it either way.
Oh, thanks. Don't hand me anything.
Just drop it, you know, but gotta go back.
You lose and watch the Melbourne player. That's kind of fun.
What am I looking for here?
What, anything? We get, you know, like coach pitch still, or just the coach that pitches the ball move when it's good. Yeah, that's the problem.
Go on one spot, slow, he'd start playing the second.
Yeah.
Owen, we got him tomorrow night. It's a little bit more exciting.
Business questioning.
All that stuff going on here.
Paid $11.69 for business records. Hey, Amanda. This is an audit right here. Hey, attention clerk, what were these 250 A3 printable business cards?
They're important.
Sorry.
Are those yours?
I printed them myself instead of ordering them.
Look at you.
Yeah, they actually bought it in the house. Like they bought it basically.
1169 as opposed to however.
Huh?
I said it was 1169 as opposed to however much.
Yes.
Yes. She says, yeah, you read.
It's fine.
All the stuff. It's like.
It's the exact same amount. Yeah. Same date.
That's mine, but like,
I'll give it back.
that's fine. I have yet to really, I skimmed it. Yeah, I skimmed it, but like,
Because there wasn't a two, I didn't have time to make the. So I stuck it there.
But.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you see something there, therefore, a couple, 3 minutes ago, I see it, and you see it, and it's like. Yeah, I think it's tired of working hard, and they're tired of it.
Okay.
Stays in the game. He retired.
You and them.
Okay. Because I don't.
One hour.
keep track of all these things. Yeah, because, yeah, I'll just live it out. But it worked.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, we're good. Okay. You're good.
Yeah. So I'll make a file.
Well, scratch it. I don't want to get a new pair.
Brand new account. Because they're.
Court tomorrow.
No.
Okay, are you gonna be in the office?
Yes.
I will, it may be afternoon, I'll just try to get in.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I did first floor today, but I did not get
would have been recorded anyway, so,
Right.
but yeah.
It's hard to get everybody. I try to get once a month, like,
All here.
second.
All in favor? Manny. Here you go, Steve. Yes. Okay, great.
Hear you, the county meeting scheduled for May 2026 at 7 p.m. Now open. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for an absolutely beautiful day. We thank you for our community. We thank you for its leadership. God, we pray that you be with us tonight, grant wisdom, and just lead us and guide us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Roll, please.
Brian Van Blarcom,
Present.
Dennis Graves,
Present.
Alexis McFarland, Cindy Gibbon,
Present.
Morgan Hinton,
Present.
Steve Shonert, Travis Paddock.
Forum is present. Welcome to all our guests this evening. Anyone have any changes to the agenda?
I do. Oh, it's not on the agenda. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Anybody want to make a motion to approve these?
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, got a motion and second. All those in favor? All right. Motion passes. Information correspondence, upcoming meetings.
708 board meeting or committee meeting next week, Wednesday at June. Probably here. Check to see what's available, but probably good.
Okay.
On the following Wednesday, the 27th, we have 911 board meeting, 9 a.m. at the fire station. And looks like public safety, June 9th at 9. No, Brian, what did I tell you? 8. What did I tell you? 8 or 8:30? 8 o'clock. Thanks for playing, everybody. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. And that'll be here pending confirmation of location.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. We will move on to open Illinois Extension Office.
Thank you. Good evening, I'm Tara Bierster, and I'm the County Director for Illinois Extension, and Katie Bell is our local food small farms educator, and Kylie Coker is one of our 4-H youth. They're going to pass out a few things to you. We're just here for our annual visit where we come and report out to you. So a couple things they've got that they're going to pass out is our annual report, and we've also, our marketing person did something new for me this year, which is a snapshot. It's a front and back. Specific to Richland County. The annual report does cover all 5 counties that I covered. And then I think I've got fair schedules. Fair week coming up. A few things to note. We did bring a new program to the area and to our 5-county unit that I was really excited about this past year called 180 Months. It is a program that Extension has developed, and it allows hunters to hunt, and if they don't want the deer that they have legal harvested, they can donate it through one of our partner processors, and we raise funds to cover the processing. We get it all ground. We don't do any specialty cuts. And then when that is available and ready, then we will pick it up and distribute it to local pantries. I think page 10 of that annual report does talk about that program. And there's a picture of it. I know here in Richland County, we deliver to Master's Hands. I'm ashamed to say I'd never been in there before to help, and so when we made our first delivery, they gave us a tour. I was really with what all they're doing there, and part of that program is not only raising the funds to get the deer processed and delivering it, but we also made free cookbooks that are based on venison, and our staff would make different recipes with the venison so that those attending the pantries would say, oh, I don't think I'm gonna cook with venison. Well, here's a little sample of taco soup. That's the big one. And they all like it, and all the pantries would clear out of venison extremely quickly. We would get calls that, hey, we need to.
So you didn't bring any tonight?
No, we ran out.
No practice. I'm just giving you a hard time.
We don't have, we're out, but we did have, when that started, my goal for our educator was if I could just get 2 processors in our 5 counties, and if we can get 20 deer, I'm happy first year. We got 83 deer, which was 692 pounds, which equated to 10,792 meals. We had raised enough to cover the 20. It's $100 a deer. There was a state grant that was massive, so I needed to raise 50 a deer, and we went through that very quickly. And we had gone and talked about the program, and so my educator and I came in early one morning. I don't know, we were there about 7, trying to figure out if we were going to fall. We needed money. And a farmer that had been at a meeting I was at just happened to text me and said, hey, how's that deer thing going? I'd love to donate, and gave us $5,000. And we were like, okay, well, we got that covered. So that allowed us to cover 83 more deer. So we were really excited about that. Charlie's partnered with us along with Legacy, and it was very successful. I know Master's Hands was thrilled. We provided meat to 3 counties, pantries in 3 counties. 4-H report. I do have a new 4-H coordinator, Jess Jennings. Some of you may know her. She's working tonight. She's at dog obedience practice. Otherwise, she would have been here. She did send a report with me. We're currently at 261 4-H members. This is of my 5 counties. This is our biggest 4-H county. We've held several workshops and events, from a drive for swan, for personal hygiene products, to new member workshop, line dancing workshop, which was extremely popular. We did a play workshop. 4-H week is huge here in Richland County. Of my 5 counties, again, they do it big here. We have something every night. And we did something new this year, weather forecasting, where the kids got to get in front of a green screen and practice weather forecasting. We've been doing a lot of school programming, and so we've been very active there. And then the library here has us come monthly to do Spark at the library, and so that's been very successful. I think that's all I have on that report. I'm going to turn it over to Katie and then Kylie. Katie's just going to tell you a little bit about what she's been doing with ag, and then Kylie will just tell you a little bit about her experience in Florida.
So as Tara said, I'm the local foods and small farms educator for the 5 counties. Basically in this county, or in this group of counties, I'm kind of a catch-all for anything ag related, whether it's home garden stuff, all the way up to commercial ag questions, a little bit of livestock, everything in between. Some of the programs that I've been doing and have planned, last year we did our farm tour series, and we hosted one here in Richland County at Weiler Enterprises, which is Michael's dairy. So we got to see the robotic milkers. We had about 25 people, and those meetings really helped us bring interest to the area, because we have a pretty big listserv, because we share that between about 10 different counties that we kind of cycle these tours through. And so we go to all different kinds of places. We've been to meat processors, we went to the dairy farm, a picture on the covers from a flower farm that we went to. So if you know of any place that's unique or really representative of agriculture in the area, always reach out to us, because we do 4 of those a year, and I try to bounce them around depending happens. This year we have one in Wayne County and then one over in Clinton County. So not in this area this year, but again, I try to rotate them around. Another thing I've been doing is some adult programming at the library. So the gardening classes, tree pruning, we're doing problems in my vegetable garden, that's coming up, just kind of like different common issues that people come across. And those tend to be fairly popular. I've got a flower arrangement with the HC group So just all different kinds of things, and then, I've been doing more like home and garden like consultation, so people have a big garden project that they wanna put in, or high tunnels, or like anything, talk on the phone or. I'm Kylie Coker. I'm currently a senior at Richland County High School for not much longer. But I've been in 4-H for about 10 or so years now. And it's had a really big impact on my life, definitely. I do a lot of different projects. I think one year I was signed up for at least 7 general projects on their own. But I show cattle at the fair. I do a lot of different plant things. So I have done forestry, I've done greenhouse. As you can tell from my sunburnt face, I've been outside working with my flowers today. So one of those projects. I also have done visual arts, all kinds of different things. But 4-H has really had a huge, huge impact on me because I'm also an FFA, and both of the programs together, they've taught me so much about not just ag, like public speaking. I don't think I would have been able to come through this talk in front of you guys here tonight if I hadn't had 4-H or FFA in my entire life. And it's really, I want to thank you guys for your support of both programs, because I know because of you guys and the things you do to help us, like, kids are able to have a ton of opportunities. So I just really thank you for that.
So that's all we have tonight. We are bringing some new programs. While I don't have the funds to hire an educator in community wellness, or health and community wellness, in other counties. And next week we're bringing in a nutrition educator, health educator, we rename that area. And she's going to do a program here in Olney in the morning and in Lawrence County in the afternoon on memory and brain health. And I've had several people sign up, so we're really excited about that. And as long as I pay her mileage, they're willing to send her. So we're going to try to do more of that and try to work together, since a lot of us have some pretty tight budgets as far as things. Any questions for myself or?
In the past, we've levied around 65,000 in property taxes. I mean, that's still going to be in the ballpark, or do you anticipate greater need, or what? I know there's always more need, but do you anticipate greater need?
I would say right now that is sufficient. We did lose a federal grant, the SNAP education grant, not SNAP benefits, but we had a piece that was titled SNAP education. And while that sustained that program, it also covered our leases in all of our counties for our buildings, part of our office support salaries, because they supported a portion of their time, supported those individuals. So this year, I've been asked that question by a couple of my 4-H foundations and another county board. I'm not comfortable asking for more right now because I want to really see how that's going to affect our budget. I'll be honest with you, we've made some changes and I expected some people to be upset with me, but we didn't print show books this year and I expected some people to be upset with me over that. But I costed that out. I'm like, I can't justify printing all these show books when a lot of families, if you show horses, you just need that one section out of the book. You don't need this huge manual. We're not going to mail premium checks anymore. We've made a lot of changes just trying to help adapt. We don't mail our newsletter anymore. I mean, we tell families if you need us to print, we'll do that for you and mail it. But we're trying to cut costs and just figure out how absorbing that extra piece from the SNAP debt loss is going to affect us. I have found out this doesn't really help our budget, but I was on a call last week. We got a temporary grant at the state level that our SNAP staff that lost their jobs are getting hired back, some of them temporarily, to run some programming in this area for our e-move safe system. So I'm excited about that because we've been getting calls from pantries and things wanting people to come out. But down the road, I might be looking for some assistance. But I worked for Terry Bruce for 20 years at IECC. I'm very careful with public funds, and so I don't want to come to anybody asking for more money. I'm sure that we need it. But we really do appreciate your continued support.
Just kind of give us an idea around August, September, what your needs will be. That would be great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that gets us to Bellwether. We have Bruce with us.
Good evening. I've spoken with most of you, so I won't try to repeat all of that. Let's talk about statutory fees. The goal of statutory fees is to remove the expense of a specific transaction as close as possible to the person benefiting from that transaction. So a title company that gets a title, a process service that goes out, and then in the absence of that, the gap between your fee and your actual cost, you're subsidizing from that cost. So what happens is if you're, I'll stay with the land documents, title registry. If a title company comes in, and they can come in from Chicago, they can come in from anywhere in the country, and if your fee isn't appropriate to cover all the expense of recording that title, your local taxpayers are subsidizing the title company out of Chicago or LA or that. So it's important to have your statutory fees match your expenses. Otherwise, your neighbor is paying their expenses. On the list, we've got the sheriff's department and the county clerk. And these are two departments that have a long list of statutory fees. And then there are some additional fees that kind of convenience fees. The example that I'll give of that is that some county clerk's office will do photocopy people and they'll charge a nominal fee for that, or they'll do notary service and they'll charge them not. Those aren't statutory fees, and you can establish those fees at cost, although some departments will increase, I'll use a copy example, they'll increase the copy fee to dissuade the other people who come in and say, oh, you do cheap copies, so I won't go to Kinko's, I'll come into the county clerk's and pay $1 a page. So that fee serves a lot of purposes. And we've been doing this for a long time. We've done fee reviews in 81 of 102 counties in Illinois. The report that you get will be heavily referenced to the statute for each department. It'll provide you with the breakdown by category of the fee, and what I mean by that is that inside of that transaction, let's stay with the title registration. There's a portion of that transaction that is labor, FICA, IMRF, things like that. That's identified, and and those dollars then become transferred to the general fund. And then there's the cost of the software and the hardware and the desk and the table and everything that it takes to do the transaction. That goes into another bucket. And then there's a whole nother category that protects the documents. That goes into a separate category. And all of those are listed out in our report along with the statutory reference that cites the authority. So the process is largely guided by the federal statutes from the Office of Management and Budget that define what direct and indirect expenses are. Our reports have been challenged and successfully passed reviews from multiple judges, multiple title companies saying that we're stealing grandma's cookies or something. And we've succeeded in every review we've ever had. So we're very, very confident in our fee review process. The process will start with a preliminary review, kind of a fill in the blank part, a lot of blanks. And then because that gets analyzed and they build a cost model, and then an on-site visit where they challenge the part of the cost model that either we are estimating on or just don't look right to us, like we got the wrong information. And then the report usually follows about 2 weeks after that. That's fee reviews in a nutshell. Questions?
I think the finance committee also has been discussing with Bruce that we've asked them to do a fee proposal on doing the budget work for the 2028 year. We basically need to get on, if we decide to do that, or this board decides to do that, they start their work, you said in April?
First year we begin in April.
April.
We can do 30 seconds of what that process feels like for the departments. So in April, we'll pull 3 years worth of budgets. And they'll profile that, looking for trends in the budgets. By June, they'll come to the treasurer and ask for the year-to-date numbers for that budget. We'll forecast out the remainder of the year, and then that goes into a packet that we sit down with each department. That department head fills out their wish list on that department. We talk about why. So the next step is the department head, your highway, right? Like you could have been the guy down the street. So the department head and a bellwether representative sits down with the budget committee, which is usually 2 to 3 board members, and we talk about their increases or why it's valid, why it's not valid. And sometimes we will advocate for the departments and say, yes, there's a change in technology. And sometimes they'll go, they're wanting a pony for Christmas. So we don't advocate. Multiple drafts come in, it comes to the board, you get to run scenarios on it. Well, what if I did this? And our people will rerun the budget based off of those scenarios. A final published goes on public display. Comments come in, you can make changes while it's on public display. A final is presented. We're dealing with the person so, and it's currently we're doing 13 county budgets and 3 city budgets. It's a $12,000 fee. You pay $6,000 when we start. You pay $6,000 when we give you a finished budget.
So the county, or I mean, the finance committee will be looking at his proposal and making it later, but since he was here, I wanted to go ahead and see if anybody had any questions on those type of services. The other thing that also we noted is that they also offer advisory services for solar and wind ordinances. And again, we've been looking at trying to update ours. And so again, we've requested a proposal of services, a fee for, or fees for review of our solar and wind. So
I want to add that service also includes vetting the application. There's a base fee for just getting the ordinances right. Then when each application comes in, then we'll review the application. You were falling short on state statute. Advise the board in that. I don't know how often you're getting applications, but
you said you've done that for Wabash, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
You've done that for Wabash County?
Oh, we've done that for probably at least a dozen, not 20 counties. We've done so many solar and we do.
So
Hancock County seems to get a lot of solar.
So anyway, with the finance committee, we'll be looking at that as well, once we get the proposal and possibly be making a recommendation there. So.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bruce.
But
I guess, do we want to go ahead and make a motion on that or wait until later?
Good under finance.
Oh, okay.
Since it's,
Oh, there it is.
since
Very
it's
good.
there. Okay. Ted, you got anything for us?
Just stop by to let you know.
Right here.
Do you have any questions after insurance or anything after the meeting, stop me. I think most of you have my card. And what I want you to know, day or night, storm, whatever, my phone's always on. So, and I live in Florida, so I can be here quick and get things rolling. If you have, God forbid, you need a some property casualty.
I think the only thing that's on my list that I'd like to get taken care of here, and we started in the next couple of months, is updating our employee policy manual.
I think Jake has talked to someone.
So, yeah, so
I'll email the office on the way.
okay. So I'll try to. My term is up in November, and one of the things on my bucket list I'd like to get done before I'm off. So, yeah, I'll try to advance that, accelerate that discussion.
Okay.
Thank you, Ted. Anything else under open? Gets us to consent agenda.
Move to accept a consent
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes. That gets us down to finance, Steve.
Oh, okay. First item, approval of presented county claims. The finance committee had reviewed the claims, and we had one late claim to add to the list. The total county claims, $118,933.70, non-county, $990,237.52. The non-county, of course, includes a lot of MFT and road funds that, on some bridge work and I don't know, all kinds of stuff. We're busy this last month, so that's why that number is a little high, but otherwise we make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Or, wait a minute. Call the roll.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got excited.
Brian Van Blarkum,
Yes.
Dennis Graves,
Yes.
Alexis McFarland.
Yes.
Cindy Gibbon,
Yes.
Morgan Hinton,
Yep.
Steve Jonert,
Yes.
Travis Paddock.
Yes.
Second item on the agenda, discussion and possible vote on bellwether services for contractual fees. Are there any questions from the board?
It's just for,
Just for this fee service?
that's my only question, yeah.
Okay. Yes,
It's GIS, sheriff,
right,
and court.
right. It's for those three areas. And they are going to provide us, or he's going to provide us an additional information on that, possibly doing animal control as well. So see what his proposal is for that.
What were the three? Steve, Sheriff?
GIS.
In talking to them at our finance committee meeting, I think Andy expects a quicker payback. Again, they were wanting to split between costs between the automation fund and the sheriff. The general fund would have to pay the portion allocated to Andy's sheriff's office. But he would anticipate a few months at most of getting payback of his fee, whereas Amanda, because of different type of fees that she's had at her office, maybe would pay back about a year. So that's things I like to hear. Pay fees if we're not going to get them a return, and it sounds like a return on investment would be quick. Reese has done this, so his firm has done this for several counties. I know they're well respected, so I will make a motion to go ahead and accept his $12,000 proposal for the fee service. Portion to be paid out of the automation fund, the other portion to be paid out of the general. And allocate what they do. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? Let's do a roll vote on that.
Dennis Graves,
Yes.
Alexis McFarland,
Yes.
Cindy Gibbon,
Yes.
Morgan Hinton,
Yep.
Steve Jonert,
Yes.
Brian Van Blarkum,
Yes.
Travis Paddock.
Yes. Motion passed.
Item C then, possible contract with veterinarian. I think, again, we just need to have discussions with the new veterinarian that's in town to see if she would be interested in providing some services to animal control. So we have not had those discussions yet. Once we do, we'll bring that back before the board. So that's no action on item C at this point. Item D, discussion possible vote on purchase of used vehicle. Again, well, I guess Andy, yeah, I guess you need to make just a quick present explanation of that for the rest of the board members that haven't heard.
All right, we had a 2015 Tahoe that went out of service, went down. Basically, both front wheel bearings are out of it, the rack and pinion power steering's out of it, and the four-wheel drive went out of it. We got an estimated cost, it's gonna cost, on the low side, maybe $4,000 to replace it all. The vehicle's got 182,000 mile on it. We rebuilt the transmission last year. Don't really believe that the motor's gonna last a whole lot longer than what we got in now. So I don't wanna put that kind of money into it. Now, that vehicle was gonna be put out of service at the end of May. I'm taking it back, wasn't gonna be put out of service, it was gonna be put into as our spare unit. So if other units go down, deputies can jump into those units instead of sharing vehicles
which again puts added mileage on a single vehicle if we're sharing, when we're working 12-hour shifts. So basically, a vehicle will be running for 24 hours if we're sharing those vehicles. So it's just looking to maybe purchase another used vehicle like we have in the past, Tahoe, in order to replace this one. It would be used, the next one we purchase would be used as a spare until, if and when we hire another school resource officer, then that school resource officer could go into that vehicle, which would then eliminate our spare again. But we do have a 13 spare out here that's got 212,000 mile on it. But again, it doesn't have a lot of the equipment or the camera system or anything. It's not outfitted like most of our squads are and should be. So just looking for the consideration of possibly purchasing a used vehicle. There are several that out there are for used that I've been researching. The used are about 35,000, usually anywhere from 50 to 55,000 on them. And it's the same company we purchased past usually from and had good luck with. So.
Just as far as a point of information, we did budget for an additional vehicle initially for additional SRO officer that was being negotiated at the time we put together the budget. And then we did receive clarification during a finance committee meeting that if I guess are assuming, or we will be doing, most likely be doing an SRO, additional SRO next year. Is that correct?
I believe we might this time next year, but it's the end of the school year, so that SRO may not start the school until August of, not this coming August, the following year. So yes, sometime in the next fiscal year, we would likely be hiring another SRO.
Right. So basically, we had budgeted for anticipating it happening this year. So if it happens next year, we won't be placing another vehicle. Won't have to budget for a second vehicle. We normally try to budget one vehicle a year just for annual rotation, and we budgeted a second vehicle. So basically, if we go ahead and approve this, he will only need basically his one additional vehicle next year. We won't have to budget for this one again. So I'll make a motion, and then if it receives a second, I'll explain my reasoning for going ahead and doing that. But I'll go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and allow the purchase of another used vehicle. I think we had budgeted 55,000, up to 55,000 for that in our general fund, board controlled fund. So I'll make a motion to go ahead and accept that.
Okay.
As far as comments, again, just because of we should not need a second vehicle in the next fiscal year. If we go ahead and allow that, that kind of satisfies the Andy's need, and so that's why I made the motion to go ahead and getting that purchase or allowing that purchase.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody? Okay, I'll let you call again.
Alexis McFarland,
Yes.
Cindy Gibbon,
Yes.
Morgan Hinton,
Yes.
Steve Schonert,
Yeah.
Brian Van Blarcom,
Yeah.
Dennis Graves,
Yes.
Travis Paddock.
Yes. Motion passes.
Guess item E, proposed officer salary. I think you've gotten the information on that. The finance committee had some discussion. We basically were looking at a recommendation from coming from the finance committee of offering, setting the raise for the effective 12/1/26 at somewhere between 60,000 and 63,000 or 63,200. I guess before I make a motion, I'll, see if Travis wants the officers to give their thoughts.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah, once again, it sounds like we're asking for a lot, but just compared to the other counties and stuff, that's why we're mostly treasurers around 75,000. We were asking for 65,000, so we're still asking for 10,000 less than what the average is. And just so we don't get too much further behind. Cause we're about $20,000 behind what the other counties currently are. And that's the only reason. It sounds like we're asking for a lot, but I'm still asking for less than what the average.
Yeah, I know I added the emails that I sent. I also printed them off. They're in here, and I gave several examples of, I mean, both Mike and I stated what we do on a daily basis. I added several counties there that are all very similar in population size. One that's half the size of us, and they're all well over 65 to 80,000. So, I also gave a couple examples of, some clerks get an extra stipend for, county board duties. It does take up quite a bit of our time. So before and after the meeting. So I don't know. You guys have this in front of you. I don't know if you want me to go over any of it. I thought Mike had a pretty good, so Richland County is ranked number 67 in county size, but we are ranked 91 out of 102 counties in pay for our pay. So, I mean, right there, it shows how behind we are when some of our neighboring counties are 20,000 more than us. They do the same job as us every day. So, there's nothing that they do that we don't do. So, we have hourly employees that are making way more than us, and and then we discussed, city officials that, well, not officials, but city clerk, city treasurer, city clerk makes. Okay,
Hang on, because I asked.
Obviously, it's public knowledge, but.
Yep, that's okay. I'll pull it up right now. I asked earlier today. City clerk makes 75,000, and the treasurer is at 83,000.
And currently, Mike and I are at 54,000.
Right.
So I don't think that asking for 65 is. I thought we were being conservative. I know it looks like it's a huge jump, but I think it's just obviously it had just gotten so far behind that it does look like a big jump. But if you don't get it, you're just going to continue to fall even more behind. So anyway, as well as, I mean, I wasn't even thinking, and I didn't have time because I didn't think about it until about 5 minutes before the meeting, but also I think both of us are very conservative in our budgets. I try to not spend excessively. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to spend my budget just because I have it. I've never spent my budget, so so I guess both of us, I think, asking for 65, and then I asked for an additional stipend for county board duties that take up quite a bit of my time, and statutorily, all I have to do is keep your minutes in my office. I don't have to be here. I don't have to do the agenda. I don't have to take the minutes. So.
60.
It has to go on the resolution. Because I can't get additional pay that's not stated on my resolution.
What are some of the stipends that other?
So some clerks get what the board makes. Hamilton County gets $10,000 stipend. I didn't ask what our board makes. Their county's half the size of ours. Our board, well, you guys know what you make, but 6,000, and then the chairman makes 8,000. So.
Chair, are you looking for a motion?
Well, Steve, we didn't really discuss the stipend
No, but I'll go ahead and make a motion and we can discuss it further then.
Okay.
All right, I will make a motion. I've got a schedule here that basically for the officers, their base pay 63.2 for 26, 65.9 for 27, 68.2 for 28, 70,600 for 29. And then I'll add to that a $3,000 board stipend for the county clerk for meeting attendance and work-related work. I'll make that motion.
Got a motion, looking for a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
I'll comment on that then as far as where I came up with that. Basically, the using the what we gave the union for their raises, even though like for this year it's a 13.6% raise. Basically, when we first made the original contract, it was during 2022, and 2022 was the year that inflation really went wild, and so they didn't really get compensated for that. And so, so taking in consideration what the, but when we did the union, we did take that in consideration. So that would be close to the same raises that we gave the courthouse union. So that's where those basically figures for their base rate came from. So that's my reasoning. So that's why I'm proposing that.
Right. Now that the motion's on the floor, is there a way to amend the motion? In all honesty, looking at these comparatives, we have a county literally adjacent to us with fewer people. And even at 65, which is what I would like the amendment to read, the clerk in the adjacent county is still at 73,762. I see all of these comps that we're just still not keeping up with it. And I would like to think that we take pride in supporting our officers in the way that, I don't know, I would feel more comfortable at 65 simply because we're still behind. And even with the, I don't know, we're still behind. I'm looking at not only the officers who conduct the clerk duties in neighboring counties, I'm seeing also on this final page, if you look, we have salaries for our employees, non-elected, who exceed even 65. If you can see in the second paragraph, we have 1, 2, 3, just in that paragraph alone, 65,961.44, 67,855.76, and 69,872.82.
Where'd you say you were thinking of last year?
That last page, it'll be in the second paragraph.
So,
And as far as the stipend, I was thinking of matching the regular board member stipend, not the chair salary, but our 6,000.
well, my comment to that, you can't really compare that. It's a different type of role. Requiring sometimes weekend work, 24/7 work. So that's
I will concede that, but I also want to say that the clerk specifically the clerks, but and also they do come in on weeknights. They do come in on weekends. They come in on Sundays. They come in to get the job done. And yes, that is what they're elected to do, but I feel like the compensation should match the job.
Now, what's the stipend for? I mean, are you required to spend that on certain things, or what is the stipend?
From the state?
Yes.
You mean just our stipend from the state? There's no requirement.
It's just goes to, I mean,
Again, the law enforcement officers don't get that.
Right.
So you add another 6,500 to what we're proposing, which doesn't include the stipend.
Right. And again,
but the 6,500 doesn't come from
And
you.
they also, like, law enforcement will get like vacation pay and stuff like that. And like, whenever I was doing that with the law enforcement people, I just did their top salary. Most of them are making another 20,000 on top of that.
Right.
If you go in, and you see their pay stub, you'll see where they actually make a lot more of that. But I wasn't including that, so I was just trying to just do the top line. I wasn't doing the bottom line. So that didn't include their vacation pay or any of that other kind of stuff, which we don't, get, or any of that kind of stuff, so. I didn't include their overtime, I didn't include any of that, that's just their, I've got their pay stubs if you want to see them, where they're all broken down.
Well, again, I don't think that's a,
And I
personally, I don't think that's a valid comparison.
Yeah.
The one and the, I mean, but the others.
the other, well, the valid comparisons, I would say, dollars to dollars would be the ones that are from the counties that are similar in size.
Because I do work evenings and weekends.
But yeah, and that's why I was gonna say, I didn't know if you knew that. That might not be, like, not everybody here might know that, but I know that because I'm more privy to that information. So yeah, if you do wanna throw out the numbers for the current county, like in-county employees, you can use the comps for similar counties.
Or our cities.
That is also, the city does have a volume of about, I would say half, as far as population goes. In addition, they do have, in my opinion, fewer duties in that, like, clerk office for hours, they run elections. And birth certificates, I mean, there are other duties, but, what maybe I'm seeing it in a different way because I'm in there every week and I see the courthouse and I see what goes on. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I do the rounds every week.
So what numbers were you wanting to do?
65, and then an additional stipend for our county clerk office in the amount not to exceed our board salary, which is currently at $6,000 annually.
65,000 for one length of time. That's for
That
1
would be the
year, that's
first.
set for.
That would be the first year.
Were you proposing subsequent to the next 4 years?
Yours.
Percentage?
Yes. We've got to get it back in line.
So the question I would have is why
I can call for a second.
comparable counties that you're,
Couldn't get a second on her motion first.
Well,
you got a motion on, I don't.
It was your motion I was
we've
asking.
got an original motion in a second, so then
Then my request was the
you're
amend.
gonna have to move to amend and get a second
Right.
on that.
So
It's your
restate the main motion real quick, Amanda, please.
Yes.
Motion of do you want to say it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Amanda.
Steve has a motion of 63,2 for the first year, 65,9 for the second year, 68,2, and then 70,600
70,600.
and a $3,000 stipend for county clerk yearly.
What was the stipend?
3.
That was for the. What?
Clarity on hers, is there a percentage on those steps or is it just a flat rate step?
On the stipend?
No, on what he suggested. Was that a
Oh, on
percentage
the steps.
increase on each year?
Yeah, what was your
And what
percentage?
was that
Yeah,
percentage?
Steve's were percentages.
You gave a dollar amount, but does that equate to a percentage?
First year was 13.6%. Second year, 4.28. Or no, 4.2827, which again kind of matches the union raise, and then 3.5 in 28 and 29. kind of trying to anticipate what the inflation's gonna be for those 2 years, so. 13.6 for the first year for the 63.2, 4.28, 3.5, 3.5.
All right, so Cindy, your amendment is what?
To begin at 65.
With the same percentage increases from 65?
Yes, and I'm assuming with Bellwether, we would probably recoup some fees.
So amendment to 65 with a 6,000 stipend.
Thank you, Morgan, yes.
All right. So yeah, now ask for a second, Trav, if you want to.
All right, so we've got an amended motion. Anybody like a second? Anybody want to second the amended motion? So now resident parliamentarian, what happens?
Fails lack of a
It dies
second.
like a second.
So question on what is on the floor. I would like to know how Richland County compares tax base wise with counties. And what counties are we talking about that is comparable, that has a higher pay? We've danced around it, but I have not heard what county it was or are. I know what the tax base is in this county, and it's not much. You have oil and you have ag. We have no industry in the county. So I don't know that that's a fair comp, unless somebody proves me wrong.
Well, you do have Walmart that used to.
That's city.
Well, they still pay county tax as well, don't they?
Yeah, they all, yeah, every business does.
But you're,
The
but
problem we've got here is you've got your resident. Our county is the same as our state.
just weird.
Your money and
Yeah.
your people are in town and everybody else is starving.
Now, this is in 24. Clay County has 287,000 tax base. Richland has 347 million tax base. Clay County has 287 million. Jasper, 276 million. Crawford has 639 million. Yeah, that's the refinery. Lawrence,
But I think it's like, it's making 75,000.
I'd say call a vote on it. Any more discussion?
Call a vote on the original motion?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
No amendment, so just the original.
Yeah, amendment to pass, so you just do the
Okay.
original.
Let's revert back to the original motion that we have a second on. If there's no more discussion, call the roll.
Where was I?
I think Alexis started last time, I think.
Yeah, Cindy Given,
Yes.
Morgan Hinton,
Yes.
Steve Shonert,
Yes.
Brian Van Blarkum,
No.
Dennis Graves,
No.
Alexis McFarland,
Yes.
Travis Paddock.
Yes. Original motion passes.
That's all for finance.
All right, that gets us through finance and on to sheriff's report. Andy.
And what I've already discussed, I don't have anything further. If there's anything that you all need from the reports, I can answer questions, but nothing that stands out other than what we've already talked about. The radio project that we've discussed in the past is still on hold, still waiting for FCC license approval. So we're kind of in a holding pattern until they approve our sites and approve our licenses. No, I have nothing.
All right. Thank you, Andy. That gets us to state's attorney's report. Marta?
Thank you. Just wanted to report that I posted the job vacancy for Assistant State's Attorney yesterday. Hoping for some applications. We, since our last board meeting, I've been handling the caseload on my own, which has been a privilege, but a challenge. I'm on call 24/7 and working pretty much until I go to bed at night and then getting up in the morning and coming back. But I'm thrilled to do it. But an assistant is definitely required. I can't do that forever.
Right.
My energy can't last. So, but everything is going very smoothly in the state's attorney's office. I think we're keeping everything going. Even though April was a month of transition in our office, we still had some DOC sentences. And I provided a list for you guys of those for April of 2026. We have some interesting cases coming up. In a few weeks, we have 3 jury trials scheduled that are still on the schedule. One is in custody, a child pornography case, serious time, a serious drug case with a man who has previously been sentenced to 12.5 years in federal custody is scheduled for trial in June. So we have some interesting cases. We also had a post-conviction case hearing in the past couple weeks for a 2005 murder case in our county that we had contested hearing on. They wanted a new trial, and we got a motion to dismiss on that, and that's dismissed, and she's back in prison. So so we've had some interesting cases going on. Also wanted to report a little bit about fine collection. We've been hamstrung, like a lot of the offices, with the lack of bond is a large way that we collected fines. And just like we talked about, it's sometimes hard to collect in our county. There's a lot of people that don't have money, and of course, our obvious goal is always public safety. As I've heard Andy say here many times, not collecting money, from people. However, we have implemented a couple policies in our office. We used to not try to revoke probation or conditional discharge if it was only fines, if they've done everything else except for collecting fines. We're doing that now. So we're trying to enforce that way and collect fines. We also used to not, a lot of times there's stayed jail in a probation order. So if they're compliant with their probation, they never have to serve that stayed jail. And we would never lift what we call lift a stay for jail, someone to serve jail if it was only fines that they owed. And we are now asking the court to enforce jail if they cannot pay or not if they cannot pay their fines, if they will not pay their fines. There's a difference. So we're trying to be aggressive in the office and fine collection. Just wanted to let the board know that we are always trying to find ways to get some fines collected. We've also discussed possibility of increasing our forfeitures and getting a policy going to get some deterrence in that respect, which may have the secondary effect of bringing some extra money into our departments. So we have things on the books, and we're talking about it regularly and always taking that very seriously. The final thing I wanted to report that next month, I won't be at the county board meeting because I'm going to be at the state's attorney's conference in Grafton, Illinois. So if you guys have anything that you need me to assist with, get a hold of me ahead of time and I'll be happy to help. Thanks.
Thank you.
may I add, she's been great to work with. I think everything she mentioned here is very positive for us and moving forward, especially on the collection of things that we could possibly do in the future, so. I'm trying to butter her up or nothing, but it's been very positive since she's taken that office, and we've had some good conversations.
You're
And-
stuck with
and-
us now.
And with the changing of the guard, there's always new ideas and new rules and the way people do their things differently and things, some of the things she says, I'm glad that we're moving in that direction on a lot of it, so. So far, so good. Thank you.
I haven't read your article or your ad as far as for the state's attorney. Have you, or are you going to consider a part-time assistant state's attorney as well?
I will, yes. The goal, I would love to have a full-time. However, beggars can't be choosers. I want to see what comes in here and I would definitely consider a part-time as well, if that's what we need to do.
I think everybody's in agreement as far as need for the assistant, whether or not a full-time or part-time. I think there are still some questions. So again, but obviously if the perfect candidate shows up, we look more favorably at that. But I guess I'm just asking, even though we've got in the budget for this year a full-time assistant state's attorney, I think if before you make that hire, you could let us know. Let us discuss that.
Absolutely.
Here. So I think as far as the finance chair, he would appreciate that.
I'm going to, I hope we have options.
Okay.
I hope we have options.
Right.
Yes, and I will obviously discuss it with the board before I do anything.
All right, thank you. That gets us to animal control.
Previous discussion about air conditioning, I did talk to Eric Royce's, came in with the lowest bid for air conditioning. And I was asking him about the fans and what was to do there. He said he's put some in, and I think he said Sisney. There's a ultraviolet light, that you could put in per unit. And there's also a fresh air system that brings in fresh air and exhausts the air out through a heat exchanger, and it absorbs stuff. He can explain that better than I can, but those were two options. He did send an estimate on those as well this evening, so I went ahead and forwarded that to the Public Safety Committee on what that additional cost would be on top of the original quote of $15,000 for the air conditioning. He did say that the places that he put them in, was a noticeable difference and helped. So I haven't asked the other, like Leeds or Hometown about those options as well, but with them being the higher bids, adding more in, I'm sure their bids are just gonna go up with the thing. So I just talked to, Derek tonight.
Okay. That's that ERV or whatever.
I asked him if that's what that was, and he said something, but it sounded like what you were talking about in that email today. So.
Okay. That would be public safety will have to look into that.
I think he said $1,200 for each ultraviolet light, so that'd be one per unit, and it goes in the whatever the tubing with the whatever you call that. I don't know. I'm not the electrician. And then $1,500 for the fresh air system.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Andrew. That gets us to highway business. Okay.
I think you mentioned that road rolling season is coming soon. Denver Township starts in 3 weeks. They're the first to go, and some of the other townships are lining up. County probably will be July before we do first part oiling, but just put that out there. Maybe it'll end up in the newspaper. People be looking out for the crews as they start to work.
Thank you. Gets us to board committee reports. I don't think our IT guy's here. Morgan, got anything?
He had nothing major report, so.
Okay. Shelley, you got anything?
Last week we finished the fifth meeting of consecutive week meetings for the mapping, which is committee program. We did 5 of those, basically to 5:30 to 9 o'clock, and had a lot of discussion. And so they came out of it with, I think 6 teams, and each team consists of people that wanted to work on a specific topic. And I'm gonna try to remember those: housing, childcare, business development, park and rest, festivals and events, and commercial retail and dining. And so the idea is that those groups, and some of them are actually quite large. I would say it's a minimum of 10 people, more than that. And even people that didn't attend those meetings are someone wanting to serve on those teams of those. So we will have a meeting again on June 16th with the folks from the mapping program at Affairs Institute. And then they will do some work after that, as well as the other teams. And then there will be a program in the fall, August, September time, where the community will be invited to attend the meeting to go over those topics. So I thought the mapping staff feel really good about the community here and the input that they've had. So hopefully we can get some things done. So if anyone is interested in serving, or if it knows of someone that would be good to serve on those committees, please let me know. I can reach out to them and give them some information. Again, the city's fiscal year meeting, so I'm taking applications of those now until first time with me. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Shelley. I don't think we have any old business. Gets us to new business. I think everybody's got a copy of the unit clarification petition that will remove animal control from the county government contract. We will review the county government contract in executive, but we will have to pass it for this unit clarification to be official. So if nobody's got any questions, somebody want to make a motion pending the county government contract approval to approve this?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes. Any other new business? And that gets us to executive.
Motion to enter executive session for the purposes of discussion of real estate, discuss purchase of real estate, discussion of labor union negotiation status, and possible litigation. Thank you.
31 seconds.
Second.
Right, okay, 2 seconds.
Alexis is way more enthusiastic.
Please call him.
Okay.
He was looking at me, maybe he was looking at you.
No, I didn't.
Or why he
Yes,
looked at me.
Morgan, oh, okay. Morgan Hinton. Morgan Hinton,
Yes.
Steve Schoner,
Yes.
Brian Van Blarcom,
Yes.
Dennis Graves,
Yes.
Alexis McFarland. Yes. Travis Paddock.
Yes.